to meet you all today. I almost never get here because yesterday I was at the airport and I had to wait 1 hour. So I decided to take a nap, never do that. The staff of the airport woke me up and said, hey, you have your plane to take. So I took the plane, then I forgot my bag in the train. But I had my laptop with me, and no clothes for today, except the one I was wearing. So I thought, what would bear girls do? You know bear girls? It's the one that can survive anywhere. So I said, yeah, I know what I can do. I went into the shower, I removed my underwear, and I washed them with the soap, because you need fresh underwear. And I was pretty happy with myself, but no, I'm pretty tired today. So I hope it will be good. I'm here to present my library, ocLazyLoad. And let's start with what is it? Well, it's an Angular library to lazy load anything, almost anything. JS files, there might be Angular, there might be external libraries, CSS and templates. And you can adapt the logic to your needs. You have methods for your router, ng route or UI router. You have a service, a directive, and a bonus with the dependency injection that I will show you later. And also, you have many options. You can change the loaders if you want to use required.js, for example. You can use events and a lot of other stuff. So why would you want to lazy load? Well, first of all, because you will load your website faster. Yeah, that's the main reason you want to lazy load files. And also because you might want to hide the application logic from unprivileged users. Let's say that you have an admin part in your website and you don't want to send the code to everyone. Well, you can lazy load it only when you need it. And also because you want to load your website faster. Yeah, that really is the main reason to lazy load files. So we'll start with a demo. I've made one website here. If I can show it to you, it would be better. This is a classic website. I put everything in a bundle. I minified the files. This doesn't use my library. But I have another one just after, the same one with my library. So you see, I can refresh. It works fine. I can switch tabs if I can see my mouse. Maybe not. Here it is. OK. There is some D3 stuff because I'm learning D3. And UI grid, model, stuff like that. So this website looks normal, OK? And I have the same one optimized. OK, this is exactly the same one. It works. And let's say that it's local, OK? So it loads really fast. Let's say that you emulate, OK, here. In Chrome, you can, OK, maybe I will put this a bit down. You can emulate a mobile connection. And now we will reload the website. And you see that it loads, it loads. You see nothing on screen. And it's not a really big site, OK? Only one megabyte of files, I think. But it takes 10 seconds to load on mobile. That's long, and enough for your users to leave the website because they think it doesn't work. Now, the same one with my library. It's not a miracle, OK? You still need to load Angular. You still need to load a few CSS files. But the other one took 11 seconds to load. And this one takes only 4 seconds. And it's exactly the same one. you can switch to the tabs, and they work all the same. But all those libraries, these tabs, are loaded after Bootstrap. And this is really a good use of my library because this is not a lot of vendor files, and you will probably use more than that. Only D3, jQuery, and Bootstrap, and stuff like that here. So let's go back to the presentation, maybe. Yeah. Now, why do you need my library to do that? Have you ever tried to lazy load things in Angular? Well, you can do it. You need to keep a reference on the providers. And it's not really easy to use, but my library is. Because I will deal with all the stuff that you never want to deal with. For example, the run and config blocks. If you want to lazy load a module that has those kind of blocks, it will be really hard not to rerun them and throw errors everywhere. Also, you can use it to lazy load only parts of your files. I will show it after. My library deals with the cache. You won't load your library twice unless you say that you want to do it. It will avoid. You can put your logic in multiple parts, but it will only load your files once. And the directive will be really useful because it works like a bit like ngIf and ngInclude. You wrap your DOM code with it, and the lazy loaded directives will work. Otherwise, you would have to use compile and stuff like that to make it work. So how does it work? Well, there is a service. It's the basic stuff. You call ocLazyLoad.load. You give the name of your module and the files. If you're loading external files that are not Angular, you don't need to give the name. And it returns a promise to do whatever you want inside. It only resolved once the files are loaded. You can use it in your router. So let's say that you want to use a controller in your state, but you want to lazy load it. Then you use resolve. It's something that works in ngRoot and UI router. You just return a promise, and the controller will be executed only once the promise resolved. So you can lazy load your controller. It will work in your state. You won't have to do anything else. And then let's say that you want to use a directive. So you put your directive inside the ocLazyLoad directive. You give the files that you want to load. And the test directive that you lazy loaded will work once the files have been loaded. Now, there is even a bonus. You can use dependency injection. You define your module, and instead of giving just the name of the module, you give an object with the name and the files that you want to lazy load. Here I lazy load Angular Translate. I skipped a step because you might want to configure the module, Angular Translate, for example. And then you can use it in your controller. You just inject the service, and you can use it right away. So this will simplify the logic. You don't have to maybe, you can define the whole modules definition in the ocLazyLoad config, but you can also put it wherever you need it. So what's next? It works fine as it is. Maybe sometimes a few bugs, but usually I try to fix them fast. And now I'm working on new stuff. So I'd like to make an autoload so that you don't have to give the name of the modules. You just load your files, and my library will automatically invoke everything that is needed. It will really simplify the process. Also, I'm working on ES6 support with System.js. If you've never checked out System.js, it's awesome. I talked with developers the other day on Skype, and he gave me a lot of good advice on how to do a plugin. So I will be working on it so that you can use import. You just import your files at the beginning, and ocLazyLoad will translate it into the code that is needed. I'm working on modularity too. I'd like to for the moment, I have included the loaders for JS, CSS, and templates files. But some people prefer to use their own. You can define your own loaders. You can use required.js, for example. And they asked me if I could externalize the loaders. So I'm working on modularity so that other developers can write plugins for my library easier. Also, I don't know if you've seen Brian Ford from the Google team announced this week that they will be working on deferred loading of providers for Angular 1.5. So you will have lazy loading in Angular natively, but they're still working on it, and they will probably not include the file loaders, only make it work more easier. So I don't know if I will have to rewrite a new library or maybe adapt my own to work with Angular 1.5, but I will definitely work on this. I invite you all to check it out, make pull requests, that would be awesome, and open issues. If you have questions, don't hesitate. I try to answer really fast. And I thank you all. If you have any questions, you can ask them now.